From the Stan Van Gundy versus Dwight Howard saga to the final round at the Masters, welcome to a drama-filled Sports Night on 9, presented by Lexus of Orlando. I'm Christian Bruey. Well, Tiger Woods was the clear favorite heading into this year's Masters, but the game we saw at Bay Hill, nowhere to be found in Augusta. Opening the door for the rest of the field and three-time champion Phil Mickelson. Lefty was in the final pairing, one shot back of Lake Nona resident Peter Hansen. A win for Phil would put him alongside Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and Tiger as the only four-time winners of this event, but the par 3 fourth was his undoing. Lefty actually had to go righty twice and took a triple bogey 6 on the hole, dropping him to 5 under for the tournament. He finished in a tie for third. Well, there were 2 hole-in-ones today at Augusta, but former British Open champion Louis Oosthuizen one-upped them both with a double eagle on number 2 to catapult him to the top of the leaderboard at 10 under. It's only the 4th albatross in Masters history. Check this out. Absolutely unbelievable. This thing finishes right in the bottom of the cup. Jump ahead to the 15th now. Oosthuizen's still your leader, but he's got some company. Winter Park native Matt Kuchar taps in this short putt for an eagle and a share of the lead at 9 under. But a bogey 1 hole later took him out of the running because Bubba Watson birdied 4 straight holes on the back 9 to force a playoff with Oosthuizen. They would each par the first playoff hole, and on the second, Bubba gets himself into a nasty, nasty situation, but he pulls off this miraculous hook shot with the wedge to put it within 15 feet. You're not going to do this at home. Oosthuizen would bogey, leaving Bubba just 2 putts for the green jacket, and the Baghdad, Florida native taps it in and becomes the 2012 Masters champion.
I've never had a dream go this far, like I've been saying, so I can't really say it's a dream come true. It's just, I don't even know what happened on the back 9. I know I made a bogey on 12, and then I birdied 4 holes in a row. Nervous on every shot, every putt. Went into a playoff. I got in those trees and hit a crazy shot that I saw in my head, and somehow I'm here talking to you with a green jacket on.
I didn't hit the ball very good this week, and it was frustrating as I know what to do, and I just don't do it. I get out there and I just don't trust it at all, and I fall back in the same old patterns again, and I just got to do more reps.
Well, the win at Augusta is Watson's first major victory of his career, and from a fellow Southpaw, I'm happy to announce he's the 3rd lefty to win the Masters. Mickelson, Kuchar, and Westwood all finished in a tie for 3rd, while Tiger Woods suffered his worst ever showing at the Masters, finishing the weekend at 5 over par, tied for 40th. Well, they call the Masters a tradition unlike any other. On Thursday at the Amway Center, we had a shoot-around unlike any other, with Stan Van Gundy letting the cat out of the bag that Dwight Howard has asked management to have him fired. The Orlando Magic circus hasn't stopped since Dwight Howard agreed to remain with the team for another season last month. Magic head coach Stan Van Gundy admitted that Howard has asked management to have him fired.
I know he has, so that's just the way it is. I was told it was true by people in our management, so, you know, right from the top.
But Dwight Howard interrupted Stan's media session, and not knowing what Stan had just said completely contradicted Van Gundy's comments.
I haven't said anything to anybody about anything. Our main concern is winning, so all the other stuff should stop.
Dwight went on to say that he's a member of the Magic and will not assume the role of a decision maker.
Whatever happens at the end of the season is not under my control. I am a player for the Magic. I am not the GM. I am not Rich DeVos. I am not Alex Martins. So that's not my job.
Right now, Van Gundy is still the head coach of the Magic, but said if he gets fired, he'll be all right.
If they want to fire me at 12:05, I'll go home and find something to do. I'll have a good day. I'm not worried about that at all.
Now, after all that, the Magic went out and laid another egg, losing their 5th straight game. This one a 96-80 defeat at the hand of the Knicks. Afterwards, all the players we spoke to were in support of their head coach, who has led the Magic to the playoffs every season he's been at the helm.
I love Stan as a coach. Since he's been here, he's helped my career out tremendously. A great person, and he wants to win.
My job is to go out there and play hard and do my job on the court, and I hope that's with with Stan coaching me.
So last night, the Magic looking to avoid the organization's first 6-game losing streak since 2006. Orlando without Hedo Turkoglu and Ryan Anderson. We'll get to the Magic injuries in just a moment. Glenn Big Baby Davis got the start in Anderson's place and continued his stellar play, pouring in 15 points in the third quarter alone. He finished with 23. As for Dwight Howard, battling that nagging back issue, still able to snatch 22 rebounds and put in 20 points. This bucket put the Magic up 8. They would go on to win it 88-82. And we also had a smile from Stan Van Gundy. There it is. Well, here's what lies ahead for the Magic with just 3 weeks remaining in the regular season. They had today off before a back-to-back starting tomorrow with Detroit at home, then Washington on the road. Then it's the Magic's arch nemesis, the Atlanta Hawks, visiting Amway on Friday. Now, if the ongoing soap opera between Stan Van Gundy and Dwight Howard were not enough of a distraction for the Magic, they've also been dealing with a number of injuries, including Hedo Turkoglu's fractured cheekbone. Turk suffered the injury in Thursday night's loss to New York and had surgery to repair the facial fracture yesterday. He'll miss the rest of the regular season, but hopes to be back for the playoffs. Ryan Anderson could be back for tomorrow's game. With Detroit, he's missed the last 3 contests with a sprained ankle, while Dwight Howard missed 2 games this past week due to back spasms and said after last night's win over Philly, it's the worst pain he's gone through in his 8-year NBA career.
You're just mixing and matching. It's tough to get into a rhythm. And so what we've got to do is gut out a couple of games, and that's why our defense is so important right now. I mean, you've got to win with your defense, get some wins, but for the offense to really get back, we got to play with the same lineup for a few games.
Switching to the gridiron now, one of the top quarterback battles in all of college football is going on in Gainesville between sophomore Jacoby Brissett and former Haggerty star Jeff Driscoll. The two took center stage in the annual Orange and Blue debut at the Swamp yesterday, both trying to get a leg up for that coveted starting spot. Brissett and Driscoll shared the first team snaps and both looked good. Driscoll completed 12 of 14 for 147 yards and rushed for a short touchdown in the fourth quarter to put the Blue up 21-14. As for Brissett, he was 9 of 16 for 233 yards on the day and completed 2 touchdowns. This 34-yarder to Trey Burton pulls the Orange to within 1, but the 2-point conversion failed and the Blue win it 21-20. Afterwards, head coach Will Muschamp complimentary about his 2 QBs.
Both guys take command of our football team. Both guys made vertical plays down the field, good decisions where they took the ball. There's no question that those, you saw what I've been seeing for 14 practices previous to today. Again, I've said it before, we can win with both guys.
Well, both Florida State and UCF will hold their annual spring games this upcoming Saturday. George O'Leary will hold 2 more practices this week before next weekend's contest at 2 o'clock. Former Oviedo stand-up Blake Bortles has solidified his position as the Knights' starting quarterback this spring following Jeff Godfrey's decision to transfer. The Knights are still loaded at running back with Latavius Murray and Bryn Harvey returning, but look out for transfer Storm Johnson, who has had a nice spring after sitting out all of last year. In Arena League, the Predators were in action tonight trying to avoid an 0-4 start, but their second-half woes continued. Cleveland outscored the Preds 27-7 in the final 2 quarters to take this one by a final of 41-24. Orlando remains on the road next week and will face Pittsburgh on Saturday. Well, Tim Tebow usually draws big crowds to stadiums for what he does on the field as an NFL quarterback. But today he drew thousands of people to an outdoor Easter service in Texas because they wanted to hear him talk. Tebow has never been shy about his faith and was the featured speaker at the service in Austin. An estimated 15,000 showed up to hear from the former Florida Gator. Tebow spoke about Tebowing and athletes being role models.
You know, I remember one of the first game we're playing the Lions and I get sacked and the guy gets on a knee and is Tebowing on top of me, and I'm thinking, like, that's really supposed to be mocking me, but it's actually flattering because you're praying. Like, that's a good thing. I don't know if that's a cut down. I'm not sure how to take it. Are you praying for me while you're on top of me or what? So, you know, I've had a good time with it, and you know, at least it's something that's being talked about, and I'm very thankful for that.
Now, Tebow will begin organized team activities, or OTAs, with the Jets later this month. Coming up, the birthday present Rays pitcher Jeremy Hellickson gave himself during this afternoon's matchup with the Yankees. Plus, the blistering time posted by Jones High School's Levante Whitfield to win the 100-meter dash at the Florida Relay.